Hey everybody, welcome again to some lacrosse terms we got. I'm Coach Miller here from B2B Lax. A lot of times there's some youth players, younger players who are confused about some of the lacrosse terminology used by coaches, players, stuff like that. So we want to take some time and clear some of it up for you. So we're starting with Timex. This isn't an official term. You're not going to see it, in the rule book or anything like that, but you will hear certain coaches yelling out Timex, Timex, and it's different for every team. But what it's basically talking about is some type of clock situation where time is running out. So basically, there may be 10 seconds left in the game, and you need to get a shot off, and a certain player might be cradling or doing something not necessarily aware of what the situation is. So everybody on the sideline is yelling Timex to give the player with the ball or the team out there, the players playing on the field, like an idea that time is running out and they need to act accordingly. A lot of times you'll hear Timex yelled at the end of a quarter when there's limited time left. So like if the ball's in transition, they'll have an idea of what to do, or at least have a better understanding of what's going on with the game clock. Recover. Recover is a defensive term that's used often if, in a team defensive situation, you have slides and second slides and third slides and people are helping out and sagging in. But a lot of times what recover is, for most coaches, is if you have a defensive player up here, say he's guarding a midi and the midi dodges by him, whatever team defensive scheme the team is running, most often than not, this guy who just got beat will have to recover back into what a lot of people call the hole, or kind of the middle area inside, right in front of the cage, so that he can get back in, get organized, find the open guy, and act accordingly. So recover is a term used with most coaches for that defensive player who got beat, and then it's his job to recover to the hole and then to match back up with whatever guy is now open after the sliding occurred. Double the ball, or double. So a lot of times at the end of a game, or if you need the ball back, it's basically just doubling the ball. So get a different color marker here, my handy blue. If you have an attackman with the ball being guarded by one defenseman, and say we have up here.
Actually, start over with double the ball.
Okay.
And you need to step to that side because you're
okay.
in front of the field there.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
So you can start start standing in front of the field where you.
And then double the ball and then go
like,
over.
All
Okay.
right, next up, double the ball. What does this mean?
Okay. All right. Next up, we got double the ball, or double. It's a common terminology used when playing defense again. So a lot of times, if you have an attackman over here being covered by one defenseman, you might just even have another defenseman come out and just leave his guy up here. So say there's a midi up here being guarded by a midi. This midi might actually just leave his guy that he was covering to go double the ball. In that case, you're going to have two guys guarding one player in the hopes to get the ball back. So a lot of times you're going to double the ball if you're playing very aggressively and you think this particular guy with the ball is a weak player and won't be able to find the open man. Or another time you might be doubling the ball is if you're down by a couple goals and you're running out of time and you need to get the ball back in order to give your offense a chance to get some more goals on the board to get you guys back in the game, or whatever the situation may be. So that's double the ball. Head up is you're going to hear coaches talk about head up all the time. Basically what that means, it's actually pretty common too, because a lot of players are running with their head down, new players, or like players that are new to the game, or even younger players, or even actually some experienced players run with their head down and they can't see anything. So you'll hear coaches yell out, head up, head up. So make sure that you just have your head up. We talked about head on a swivel in an earlier video. It's similar to that, but in this case, you want to just make sure that your head's up and you're aware, seeing what's going on, and it's not down, so you don't miss anything in the course of play. This next one, hedge, is actually a really good term. It's a really good tactic to use when you're playing defense as well. We'll talk about, in different videos, we've talked about, different slide packages and stuff like that, and team defensive concepts. A hedge is, so say we have two players up here, two midfielders. This guy has the ball, and this guy's being guarded. This guy's being guarded, okay? So a hedge, basically what we're talking about, I'm going to diagram it on the board as well, but it's not a slide per se, where a guy is actually sliding the guy, but it's like kind of a fake slide. He's looking like he's going to go to allow the current player to recover after he's been beat a little bit. So I'll just diagram it here on a pick, right? A pick for the ball. So if we have this guy has the ball, and this guy comes over and sets a pick on this guy right here. So instead of, a lot of times when you set a pick, it's going to cause this player who was originally defending the midi to not be able to guard him anymore. But if you're just going to use this term hedge, you still actually want this guy to be able to still guard the guy with the ball. So this midi who is now over here, we'll diagram it. So now this midi is setting this pick. This midi is here, so this guy's going to come off the pick. This guy might just kind of hedge while this guy has time to recover and get back to the guy. So he never actually had to leave him. He was guarding him initially. This guy set the pick, so this guy came up and set a little hedge to give this guy time to get back and still cover his initial man in that situation. So a hedge there would be his teammate hedging to give his other teammate a chance to get back and keep on guarding the man that he was guarding from the beginning. So it's a little complicated, a little more advanced term, hedge, but it's a great term because it's also a great concept because it allows you to keep your remaining matchups and not have to switch defenders. So a lot of times you might do that. Say for instance, this matchup right here is like the two best players on the team. They might want to set a pick for that guy to get him being guarded by somebody not as athletic or as good of a defender. But if you have this hedge concept in place, then it will allow their best defenseman to still guard the best offensive player on the team. So that's what we're talking about when our coaches are talking about when they talk about hedge. So, yep, so here's some more lacrosse terms. We got Timex, recover, double the ball, head up, and hedge. So we'll definitely have some more terms for you in other videos, but these are the ones we talked about here. So Coach Miller with BTB Lax, thanks for watching.
Did you know that there's just two simple things that separate the average youth and high school lacrosse player from the elite guys that are ready to go on to play in college and beyond? Yep, just two simple things. We teamed up with college All-American and multiple MLL All-Star Mike Kimmel to put together a completely free, 45-minute long, 3-part video training series that's going to show kids and parents exactly what those two things are, what you need to be working on if you want to take your game to the next level. And nope, it's got nothing to do with hitting the gym or running till you puke. If you're serious about improving as a player and you want to become one of the best guys on your team, get more playing time, and catch the eye of college recruiters, you have to see this free video training. Just click the link below in the description of this video and you'll be taken to a page where you can ask to receive instant access to these free videos. Join the thousands of high school and youth players that have already seen Mike's awesome training and take control of your game today.